Welcome to another video from me. In one of my previous videos I had the new ESX DSP amplifier here on the table, and I had my full range speakers hooked up. So, at the amplifier there are the regular cables coming out, and my full range speakers have cables. And I had a connector in between, and I had exactly this connector in between. This is something 3D printed once again. And there are WAGO terminals in there. But one, they're not that new, but still a relatively unknown one among the WAGO terminals. And what do I use them for? It's simple. I usually switch things in the car every now and then. Every now and then, things in the car. That means sometimes a new amplifier goes in, sometimes different speakers go in, or I might change something in the trunk or whatever. So I don't necessarily want to rely on one cable routing, fastening, left, because, well, it just doesn't work for me. A cable from the front, from the speaker all the way to the amplifier in the back. Because if I want to swap something out or change something or rewire something, then it just doesn't work. And that's why I have this WAGO terminal strip here, printed just for you. And let's take a look at them. What kind of WAGO terminals are these anyway? What they do, what do I need them for? Is that sensible, not sensible? And I'll introduce the models to you later. The classic WAGO 211412 terminals should be familiar to most of you. These are such beautiful spring clips. You can open them like this. Then you can plug all sorts of things in here. Then you can snap it shut again. It's basically pressed down with a spring. They're great. They work really well. And I also like to use them in the car. New here. There's something new now. I don't know exactly when it came out, but now there's also this through terminal from WAGO. That's basically exactly the same. This is a WAGO 221 with the additional designation 24F. And yes, what is that? In the end, it's actually exactly the same as this here. Just that it doesn't hold now. It doesn't just clip out on one side, but rather goes in here and comes out there, or the other way around. That means we also have two spring mechanisms here where we can insert wires. The cool thing about these terminals is that they are... So here are some values listed depending on which certification authority, whether it's UL or IEC. But we can definitely send 20 amps through there relatively safely. Send 1300 watts to a 4 ohm subwoofer. In the maximum case, actually, 1300 watts to a 4. I want to transfer to a 4 ohm subwoofer. I would be at 18 amps at 72 volts. So that wouldn't be a problem for this terminal to transfer 1300 watts. Transfer. They can definitely handle much more in terms of power. They are rated for up to 300 or 450 volts. Rated for 450 volts. That means we don't have to worry about that. Everything fits really well so far. Subwoofer. Yes, what kind of cable goes in there? That's always the question. The great thing about these terminals is that they are very, very flexible. That means we can fit everything from 0.2 to 4 square millimeters in there. What we want. That means we really have a lot of options to put the cables in there that we really need, and they really hold up. So it's not like we have a huge terminal block here, where we try to put a small micro wire in. For a remote cable, for example, it holds up. Yes. And then there are WAGO. There is a creator suite where you can already download some models. And I adjusted the models a bit and basically put this together. I'll share the link to that part again. There is, in the article, you can find it in the video description, just like on Thingiverse. And what is that? That's actually, yeah, at this point you can see here, do 6 odd. Then 12, do 6 odd, then 12. 12 of these WAGO 211, 2411 terminals next to each other. Why did I do that? And here there are also drill holes. So I can screw this here near my amplifier. Yes, and the practical thing now is, if I just do this right here, for example, I have my wide binder again, and here now, basically, the opening, I can easily put my wires in here. Put the wires in to make them and hold the bombs tight when they are in there properly. Yes, hold the bombs tight in place. I have no problems at all. And now I can put the corresponding cables for my amplifier in here. So also at this point, I can now take from my channels here. That means here I have, for example, channel 1. And the great thing is that the Vegas, they also work well with fine wires. That means I don't really need to use anything like ferrules or something. I can just open this up here, ferrules or something like that. That means I can just open this up here and push my cables back in. That makes me feel a bit unintelligent today. Done. The connection is done. So at this point I now have the wiring harness that I got from the amplifier, just using a multi-adapter. Now for one speaker, and we see two things. It's a speaker, sure we need plus and minus. That actually means we have 2 speakers here, 4 speakers, 6 speakers. Why 6 speakers? The front system, a 2-way front system has 4 speakers and a 3-way front system has 6 speakers. And where this amplifier is planned, there will be 6 speakers in the front system. That's why this here is my connection block for the front system. And here I actually have the connection for the front. So high tone left, high tone right, mid tone left, mid tone right, and low tone left, low tone right. And I can accordingly lay the cables here. Just lay it on top like this. Is used and can then easily connect someone to the speakers. Put everything on that is already in the car, so I already have all the cables lying in the trunk. They're already currently in an amplifier, but now, for example, here in this amplifier, so I only have this connector. That means I can't just put cables in there. And this is now the advantage here. I go in with my cable, the thing gets adapted to it, and that's it. And in case I, which has happened before, somehow just connected a speaker the wrong way, I connected a speaker the wrong way, or I got it mixed up. With left and right, I can just open my terminals here again. I can take the speaker out, put it somewhere else, and done. So this is really, really cool. And with these terminal blocks from WAGO, they really hold. Sure, they are more expensive than a terminal block, but they definitely hold better than a terminal block. And you absolutely don't have to worry about how to attach something either. This model is basically for a 3-way front system. I also have another model for a subwoofer, which means there are really only 2 of these things. I've got that all done. Links are available in Den. There's a link in the video description. And that's it again. Another cool accessory. So the WAGO are really great accessories. And the 3D printing is actually pretty cool here too, because with that the scale is securely attached. Just screw it onto the plate or do something else. And you have a stable way to connect your cables that are in the car. For me, it's super practical, and yeah, it's going to be installed in the next few days. Well, let's keep going. You'll probably see it in 1 or 2 more videos. If you're interested in this kind of fun, leave a subscription and write a comment about how you liked it. Do you need any more fun like this? If you also need a version for a 2-way front system, anything is possible, and with that, I thank you for watching and see you next time. Thomas, bye.